You don't want to lose weight, you want to lose body fat. Think about it, the actual weight on the scale is not really important. The goal is more that you want to lose real fat from your body. The only people who need to be thinking about their weight are those who are in competitive sports such as boxing and weightlifting, in which you are placed in a weight category. For the rest of the population, probably 100% of the people watching this video, what I'm about to tell you will positively impact your life and the way that you view fat loss if you can internalize this message. Make sure you stick around to the later parts of this video because I'm going to give some practical advice that everyone can start doing right now to make a change. So let's begin. I believe our focus of weight loss has been essentially manipulated by everything around us. Weight loss is marketable. Magazines, websites, movies, personal trainers can sell you this idea of losing 10 pounds quick. What's actually hard is losing body fat percentage, and that is where everyone struggles, but that is what everyone actually wants. No one cares what your weight on the scale is. They only look at your body and the amount of fat on it, don't they? Lowering your body fat percentage is not hugely difficult, but it does require you to change your mindset. You need to change how you view this whole thing if you want to actually make some progress in your fat loss journey. Try this. Completely forget that weight exists. The number on the scale does not exist anymore. Instead, we're going to focus entirely on what our body looks like. What body fat percentage are you right now? Here is a template you can compare against. The numbers are different for women, but YouTube says that pretty much all of the people who watch my video are men, so this is going to be a male-focused approach. Please remember that this picture is a very rough template. You won't actually look like the three guys on the top pictures unless you have built up that muscle mass through resistance training. So don't look at their muscle size, look at the amount of fat that covers their muscles. I would say that the majority of men, especially the ones watching this, will be roughly 20 to 30% body fat. Men who consistently exercise or have pretty good genetics to start with are roughly 15%. Comment below if you agree or disagree with me here, but I would say that in my 6 years of fitness experience, this is pretty accurate. Of course, allowing a little bit of leeway for individual differences. So let's imagine that you are 25% body fat and you want to go down to 15%. Now, if we were only looking at your weight, we would say that you were roughly 200 pounds and wanted to go down to roughly 175 pounds. You would be focused entirely on losing that 25 pounds, but this comes with a huge amount of negativity to your mental well-being. Every single time you step on the scale and your weight hasn't gone down, you would feel upset. You'd feel awful seeing that the weight has stayed the same, or it might have even went up. Your success in your fat loss journey would be completely tied to the weight that the scale says, but the scale gives data that's heavily influenced by so many factors, so it's kind of inaccurate in a certain way. Plus, if your goal is to actually lose fat from your body, why not focus on the fat of your body instead of the weight on the scale? This is what most people don't do because it just takes time. You've probably spent months, years, or even your entire life doing actions that have brought you to the 25% body fat you are now. Now you need to negate all of that with actions that will take you from 25% to 15%. If you've put no real effort into your training and your diet over the years, then of course it's going to take some time. And this is where people obviously just prefer to look at their weight because it's more of a feel good, it's more of an instant fix. You can see progress in your weight on the first day of a calorie restriction because of the lack of normal mass that you have. You could go and eat healthy for one day and see a small but significant drop on the scale, which feels like you're going in the right direction. You will not get that with actual body fat. Actual body fat will be burnt off slowly over the course of months, if not years. I can fully understand why people don't want to focus on body fat levels and would prefer to look at it in terms of weight loss. It's easier, but changing your focus will not only give you solidified, consistent results, it will also heavily positively impact your mental well-being. One thing that the majority of people seem to have such negatives for because of their reliance on the weight scale. So to go down in body fat, we aren't going to think about it in terms of weight and how many pounds we need to lose. The only thing we need to think about is time. How much time we need to put in. The time it takes to drop body fat is dependent on your calorie intake, your training, how much you want to lose, where you're starting from, and where you want to end up. There are other factors, but these are the most important, so we're going to focus on these. Now, I'm going to give you a very generalized statement here, which I believe is roughly correct for the majority of men. It takes around 3 months to drop 5% in body fat whilst remaining in a moderate calorie deficit and also training pretty hard. This is relevant around the average body fat percentage of 20 to 30. Most guys are overweight, so 20 to 30 is average. So here's a practical example. You are 25% body fat wanting to get down to 15%. It would take you roughly 6 months of a moderate calorie deficit and pretty hard training to get there. I know I said we're going to ignore weight here, but let's just see if my math works out right. 6 months is 24 weeks. A moderate calorie deficit has you losing 1 pound per week. That's 24 pounds of fat lost in 6 months. We said earlier that the 25% body fat level was roughly 200 pounds and the 15% body fat level was roughly 175 pounds. That's 25 pounds of fat that needs to be burnt. And my statement says that in 6 months of hard work, you will lose roughly 24 pounds. So close enough, 24 to 25. Again, if you disagree with me or agree with me here, actually, please do leave a comment down below. I would appreciate to hear other people's opinions on this, especially if you consider yourself somewhat advanced in fitness, because I'm always personally willing to learn myself as well. So we've said now that it would take you 6 months to lose 10% in body fat. To go from 25 to 15, it would take you 6 months with 2 variables, a moderate calorie deficit. So what I mean by that is roughly staying 500 calories below your maintenance level every day. And by pretty hard training, it's more relevant to the individual. So pretty hard training for me is training about at least 2 hours pretty much every single day. Pretty hard training for a beginner would probably be training 3 times a week, 1 hour a time. So it's relevant to you. This is what we should be focused on. Devoting 3 months of hard work to lose 5% of body fat. So now it's time for the practical advice that I mentioned at the start, because I want you to leave this video not just scrolling on another YouTube video. I want you to leave this video with some actual benefit to your real life that you can do right now. So let's make you a fat loss plan. Compare your body fat percentage to this template that we used. Find out your rough body fat percentage. It could even be in the middle of these sections. For example, if you feel as though none of them truly represent you, you could be between 15 and 20%, so you could just say roughly that you're currently 17% body fat. Get the number that you believe you are currently at and write it down. Make a note of it so that it's clear that this is your starting point, and even date it. You are X amount of body fat on the date that you watch this video. Making a note of it will give you a great reference point to remember. Plus, this small amount of investment of grabbing a pen and a piece of paper or writing it down on your phone is actually kind of like a stepping stone to investing you and actually getting you into this process of receiving a benefit from this video and actually positively impacting your fat loss. Second, think about your ideal body fat percentage. Again, choose a number between these sections if you feel that's better for you. Write this number down too. Now, remember the general statement that I said, that it takes roughly 3 months to lose 5% of body fat. Get the difference of your current body fat percentage and your goal body fat percentage and put it against that statement of 3 months for 5%. So we'll use me as an example right now. I would say that I'm currently 13% body fat. My goal is 10%. That's a difference of 3%, which, putting it against the general statement that I put out, means that it will take me roughly 1.5 to 2 months to reach my goal. So it's currently May 27th. This idea says that I will reach my goal of 10% body fat somewhere in July. That seems very reasonable to me, seems completely understandable. What are your numbers? Does it seem reasonable? Also, one final point. Have you noticed how I keep saying hard work? 3 months of hard work. Exercising, specifically fat loss, will always be hard work. No matter if you feel as though you're a complete beginner or advanced. To make progress in exercise and fat loss, it will always feel somewhat difficult. It always has to be relevant to your current levels of fitness. Never forget that. This is a priceless mentality to just hold in your head forever. The real fat loss progress will never be easy and it will never be quick. Anyone who disagrees is trying to sell you something. That's it. I'm out. I'm going to do a follow-up video related to this topic in July when I've hopefully reached my goal of a 10% body fat physique. If you'd like to see that video, then please consider subscribing, because then you will see my videos on your YouTube page. Take care.